Hello, creatives. Once again, welcome to an exciting and stimulating analysis on dealing with the self, and the model. And by the way, these analysis could be interchange, female, male, anemas, anema, whatever rocks your boat. But I'm using the traditional approach to the artist muse of the self-portrait and a female model, and that I'm using it for my own work and understanding the relationship between, understanding relationships that are romantic relationships that are that they start beautiful and magical and kindred spirits. I have a little bit of allergies. Kindred spirits, and they take off, and they're soulmates. And then time goes by, and that starts fading away. That's the hard part. When things fade away. This drawing here is within the structuralism of creative imagination of Carl Gustav Jung, where we analyze our dreams. We create an artifact on paper, a drawing. We let the unconscious speak. We also work with the ego. Let me see something here for a second. Bear with me. Here we go. Oh, I have a new chart. It's very important for this drawing. So, Carl Jung. Practice active imagination. Concentrate helps grow the mind. Focus on a dream. Let the unconscious speak. Generate an artifact on paper. Analyze the message and practice. These drawings, they start as scribble, what we would call in the world of drawing, gestural drawing, finding the space very lightly. Then this is the good thing about these psychoanalytical drawings, that you start finding the space within a certain framework. I like to compare this to space-time, where this space I'm occupying at a certain time, being in the now, like at Eckhart Tolle, you're being in the now. So by you letting it go and let the pencil do the walking, let the pencil become the magic wand. When you see an orchestra and the composer, the conductor, is doing this, he's literally, gesturally, with motion, defining the sound of music. When we go and we do this, we're defining the sound of our feelings, our emotions. Feelings, our emotions, are frequencies, like music. Music works in a harmonic periodic function. That's why music is so complex. It could be very melancholic. It could trigger memories. It could trigger emotions. It can make you jump and dance. It can make you jump and dance and cry. There's a band that I love called The Cure. And Robert Smith, the actor, has a very melancholic sound to his voice. And the chord changes, they tend to take you there. So not only does he make me jump, 80s British rock, but he also makes me jump crying because he takes me, it's a pendulum swing. He takes me to a very high level of my emotions. Relationships are like that. A drawing can trigger. That's why it's very important to trigger a drawing or listen to music, ride a bicycle, anything that has emotions, anything that puts you in the moment will trigger stuff. Okay? Now, Jung, our exciting chart here, Carl Gustav Jung, Swiss scientist, psychiatrist, psychoanalysis, mystic, had a structure that is very pragmatic, but it's also very complex about your ego, your subconscious mind, and your conscious becomes the collective. That is the unconscious. Somewhere here the unconscious, somewhere here the somewhere here the unconscious. Then we have the anima. That's why I always like to represent, for these psychoanalytical drawings, the relations between the anima and the animas. And we can exchange roles. It doesn't matter if your partner is male or your partner is female. What we have is the same structuralism that we have to navigate around our female and our male energies. The healthy thing to be to have this in a symmetrical way. Complete equilibrium. That your female energies and your male energies are balanced out. Yin and yang. Right? That would, according to the structuralism, I'm sticking to a rudimentary approach to structuralism based on Carl Gustav Jung psychoanalysis of practicing active imagination and bringing out your creativity through the power of a drawing. Similar to what you did when you were a child. When you were a child, when I was a child, my grandmother was always a big Augusta. My grandmother Augusta was a big fan of my drawings. I would draw, and I would every day give her a drawing, and she would be very happy, and she would keep the drawings. You know, my mom, she kind of played with it. The idea that here's a drawing again, another drawing from the child. But these drawings that were childlike were the beginning of me being able to create. Creativity. This is wonderful. I'm in an area here where there's a lot of birds and all that. I was able to create a tool for me to express myself, right? To express myself. I was able to generate an artifact that I was able to give to my grandmother. She could analyze the message. Very primordial, very nurturing, very... it happens in the animal kingdom where the animal, a cat hunts a mouse and leaves it so the master sees the mouse and gives him praise. Oh my God, what an incredible, unbelievable hunter you are. A tigi, tigre, whatever the animal. And tigre, that was one of my cats. That I'm a big cat lover. I'm a big animal lover. I love nature. And a lot of my answers that I get in life, they're nature based. They're organic. So anyway, this situation of when you analyze a relationship between the male and the female, or the self and your partner, your romantic lover, and there is intimacy. The relationship is locked in. You trust each other. But what happens when that fades away or it leaves? You see here, it leaves. Where no longer the model here is interconnecting with the artist, or me, or you, or no longer is interconnected. Now, there is an experience that I've experienced in my recent past, which took many years, but literally, 3 years to figure out a person, why their behavior was so crazy, so disconnected, so unavailable. Meanwhile, the person that I was with was available to everybody else in her party, a group of people in her industry. She didn't have any problems socializing with others. She didn't have a problem with her body. She was very proud of her body, very proud of the way she looked. She was very successful financially, very independent. But the thing about her was she older gal, trying to keep it up in her industry, in her entertainment industry. She works in the entertainment business, in production. Always has to look young, the body, da-da-da. Then they're constantly around her, all these wannabes, all these codependents, people that want to make it in the film business, people that want to make it, want to hang out with her on the weekends because, she did this film and that film and blah, 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 blah. I never cared for that. That's one of the reasons we had a good relationship, I thought. Because I don't care. I don't care for celebrities. I don't care for the limelight. I don't need to be in the spotlight. What she communicated to me was, that's one of the things she liked about me. Then I started picking up that she had a life. And this is really interesting because when people put things in this compartment that she kept, she was very good at it. But she had many different compartments that were secrets. According to her, I have my secrets. She had a hidden side to the relationship. She had periods, and this is really interesting. When you have a relationship that's kindred, that's a soulmate, that's spiritual, that you're connected through what Jung would say, through the subconscious, through the collective, but the relationship is really unconscious based. There's a lot of energies that are beautiful. There's a lot of energies that keep the relationship solid. Because the unconscious, as we know, through the work that Jung did with Wolfgang Pauli, 1955 Nobel Prize winner for subatomic particles, the neutrino, the whole concept of synchronicity comes from how the unconscious, right? The unconscious is so reflective to quantum mechanics. So when you have a relationship with somebody that's intimate and that's solid and that's symmetrical, and the relationship has boundaries, you're literally navigating the oceans of quantum mechanics. And there's never an issue with trust. Why? Because you're interlaced. like the drawing, you're interlaced, you're interlaced from a quantum perspective, like that. And whatever turns you on with the partner, usually it's reciprocal, it's interchangeable. You're turned on by her, she's turned on by you. You're turned on by her. It's almost like playing tennis. Boom, 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 boom. And you keep the ball in the court. Okay? But what happens when the person, it could be vice versa, decides that vibrationally, and it happens in the world of quantum mechanics, it happens with electrons. Electrons are in an orbit, a male and a female in an orbit, an electron. Electrons can decide to take off, go to a parallel universe. They can even decide to call it quits. They can even commit suicide, an electron. They can disappear and come back. In the past, in the future, in the present, they can navigate multidimensional. But anyway, what happens when a person leaves? And this is where we can bring it down to a psychoanalytical perspective. What are we dealing with? Are we dealing with a person that becomes emotionally very cold and very disconnected? A person that's bringing no new material to the relationship. A person that is not engaging. A person that's breadcrumbing. Meaning, if you want to talk about fishing, or you want to talk about washing the car, or yeah, okay. Oh yeah, wash the car. Oh yeah, go fishing. Da, da. But the person is not interconnecting emotionally. Now, if the person doesn't connect emotionally, it could be the male or the female, one of the two. What happens is very interesting. This is a new grid, a new visual I did. Here we have a body in green. We have the mind in blue. We have our emotions in brown, and we have sexuality. Okay, if a person, body-wise, they're stylish, meaning they know how to dress, they work out, they got sexy clothes, always sexy clothes, the jeans with the boots, the little, all this fetish stuff, the little string that hangs in the boot. The boots are very beautiful boots. The hair, the body is fit, sexy clothes. But what happens when the mind in the relationship, and this is amazing, because in my case, a very logical, very educated, a very well educated, very cultured person, very well traveled, and tremendous credibility. She can make money, she has properties, she's lived all over the world, da, 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 da. Now it takes, okay, so the mind, so the emotions, this is where the problem lies. Emotions are passions, feelings. You could talk about something that's bothering you, something that you're excited about, something that you're inspired about, new ideas. They say when people have illusion, they have goals, and then they have dreams, and they have fantasies. Your brain produces tremendous amount of neurons. When the body, when your emotions become dull, low-level emotions, and you close in and you don't communicate, you have the opposite. You start damaging the brain. The brain stops producing neurons. The brain is a combination of dendrites and synapses and chemical reactions. But it's also, the brain has neurons, subatomic particles that could fill up the whole universe inside your brain, inside the brain. We call the brain the mind. The mind is mechanism. In Spanish, the mind is something else. La mente, el cerebro. The mind, we tend to it becomes not only a logical apparatus, of course, the most logical, the most complex organ known to mankind, the brain. But the brain becomes something that either you use it, or if you don't like the term, if you use it or you misuse it. If you don't use it, you misuse it. If you misuse it, it's dead. It starts dying off. So going back to this person, the emotions, the passion was gone, very bullheaded, very cold, gaslighting. So she started developing all the, the basic PowerPoints of a narcissist. Not an aggressive narcissist, not a grandiose narcissist, but the most complex of the narcissists, the most dangerous, which is the covert, the passive. Because she has all the bells and whistles. She is successful. She knows how to dress. She knows how to talk. She has a lot of stories. She works in an industry where there's a lot of wannabes and a lot of codependent and a lot of karmics that will use her, take her to the cleaners, money-wise. They will come disguised as people that want to be with her, but they just want to take away from her. And she's weak. Why she's weak? Because she knows that if she has her karmics, her parties of people that are low-level people, they can come in and she can go in and get supplies from them. But meanwhile, her soulmate, her solid relationship, started discarding the relationship. To the point that it really started affecting me and my sleep, dreams. I felt that another thing that makes a covert narcissist fall into a certain category of sexual narcissism is their relationship with their bodies and how casual they are sexually. So they see sex very casual. Sex is in and out. Like Heidegger would say, you exist outside of yourself, called what he called Dasein. You are in your exterior. She's always in the exterior, going out. So what happens is, when you're with a partner and you're not sharing emotions, you're disregarding your partner, you're isolating your partner, you are annihilating your partner. And you're strong with the body, and you're not having that connection with the partner, you go to here, you go to sexuality, exterior sexuality. You go where the recognition is. You go where you can have connections. Maybe where you can start other relationships with a younger partner. She has many options. And this is where she's at. Now, the amount of abuse that you get from a person like this, and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing. When you're with a narcissist, a karmic, narcissist. And I use the term karmic because, Jung talks about the eon. The eon is an era that we're in now, according to Jung, where good and evil, right, will kind of, talking about a tennis court, good and evil will be on good will be on one side of the court, evil will be on the other side, but they will meet at the net. They'll meet at the net. They'll be rallying at the net. At the net. Now, the self, portrait, and the model, the artist, the me, her, whatever, we can exchange roles here. We can analyze from different perspectives, the anima and the animas. The only thing you could do here is what Sartre would say, Jean-Paul Sartre, French existentialist, passed away, I think, in 1980. He wrote a manifesto that is highly important. Manifesto that took me about 6 years to read, off and on, called Being and Nothingness. Being and nothingness. Being in others being in you. Por soy and soy. For itself, and itself. Now, the only way you can beat a narcissist, is by putting a boundary here, what we would call in physics a singularity, meaning that will stop. You put the brakes on the wheel, complete brake. Now, that technique takes work, because in order to do that, you have to have an analysis. And it would be ideal that it could be done in therapy, with a therapist in therapy, and going through all that process of identifying yourself and the other, and going through many drawings and many talk therapy to really analyze what are the dynamics, what is the evidence of the feelings that you're experiencing. And here we go. Ego, she's an ego. I am more in my collective, from my subconscious mind to my conscious mind. But she's also activating my subconscious mind, but not communicating with me. What happens? Very quickly you go into imagination. The unconscious starts speaking to you. You start creating symbols. You start creating evidence. You start putting all your math together, all your mathematics together, and feelings and emotions and dates. You start dating stuff. Here I have dates. It started February 20. It was a cycle. February 5th of 2020, February 7th of 2021, and the complete implosion, February 5th, 2022. Okay? So yeah, a two-year period to come into this analysis, so I can trigger what Sartre would say with the double negation. You negate me, I negate you. I put a singularity, I put a complete stop to it. I go into being and nothingness, where she's going to experience, for me, this is something that narcissists hate, when you evaporate, you vanish from the face of the earth. She's left with what? With here, with nothing. Yeah, she has her options, and she has her supply, and she has her wannabe karmics and her codependent people depending on her. But the person that she thought she had in her pocket, that she can abuse, mistreat, discard like a piece of paper, like I was toilet paper. That person played her in the game of life itself. She played me with analysis, psychotherapy, doing these drawings. My therapy was based on drawing and sending my drawings to my therapist and dating them. We had a visual. There's something in physics, in quantum mechanics. If you see something, if you see it, you believe it. A lot of times you don't need the partner telling you that she started a relationship. I know she started a relationship with a third party, or maybe 2 or 3 relationships with other people, because of how casual her sexuality is, how casual she is with her exterior being. She falls into the trap very quickly. She's lost a lot of money within the last 2 years because she got fucked. She got fucked by the fakes out there. And I told her, I saw it coming. Now what happens when a narcissist will not see the truth, will deny the truth, no matter what. She's fine with the lust. Now she has to work like an animal. I mean, she has to work like she's never worked in the 15 years that I've met her. She was very entitled. She would choose. She was always like, what works for me, what works for me, what works for me. Now she had to work for 2 years in the snow in New York, in the wintertime, where she was always in New Zealand. Because life is, in itself, the magic of life. You never know, abracadabra, what can happen, good or bad. Thank you for watching. Peace out.